Hi, Eckerd community, and welcome to the Communist News Network. Your anchor for the day is Laila Forsmanen, and it is the 11th of December at 12 p.m. Take a look outside. This view is sponsored by the Communist Party of Russian Federation, who have worked really hard to make this news edition possible for the day. You know what they say, you only get what you put in. No? Okay, that joke was also sponsored. So what is it that we're doing today? Well, two very hardworking gentlemen on the scene, Rodney Allen and Sam Chichio, will tell us more about it. So lads, what is that we're doing today? And what are your ultimate goals?
Thank you so much, Laila. So basically we are here today to go around the Eckerd campus and find some students to interview about communism. And we're doing this because I know we're an enlightened school, but I'm not exactly sure how much we know about economic systems. So we're about to find that out. Here we go, live to Sam Chicho on the scene.
Welcome, Tony.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I was wondering, do you know what communism is?
Yes. Communism, at least to me, is everyone contributes equally and they receive equally and everyone wins.
Do you think we use this dynamic in the U.S.?
No.
Why do you think not?
Because I feel like the U.S. is too stuck right now in capitalism to go straight from everyone working for their bread to just kind of like a more relaxed kind of system of just, how do I put it? I guess providing for themselves.
Okay. Do you think communism could work anywhere else besides the U.S.?
I think it totally could. It's just a matter of, are the people going to get pissed off about not being able to get more than someone else, or are they going to be content?
Hello, sir. How's it going today?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing great. I got a couple questions for you. Firstly, what is communism?
Communism is the abolition of all private property.
Very interesting. And do you think this abolition could possibly take place in the U.S.?
No, because communism on paper works out really well, but in practicality it always falls apart.
Very interesting. And so do you not think there are any states that have successfully done it?
Not completely on their own. For example, like Cuba is technically communist still, but they're not completely independent from commerce with other nations like Russia or China or something else.
Very nice, very nice. And do you know of any public figures or historical figures that are communist?
No.
Alrighty. Heard it here first, folks.
Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. I gotta ask you a few more questions about communism. So, number one, what do you think communism is?
Communism is a political system in which everybody receives an equal amount of resources.
Gotcha. And do you think that this can work anywhere in the U.S.?
I think it can, and I think in some places it already slightly does because of systems that we have put in place, like healthcare going to everyone and certain rights that we agree are necessary for people in America.
Yeah. Okay. So, in this case, do you think it would ever work in a foreign country besides the U.S. because we're so capitalistic?
I definitely think that communism possibly could work. I think it's just very hard to put in practice, which is why it hasn't worked so many times.
Okay. Do you know any of the political figures of communism in history?
Yeah, like Karl Marx or Lenin.
Yeah. Would you have a beer with Lenin?
No, but I'd get a Leninade.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Do you know what communism is?
I know that it's like there's not really a class system. Everyone's kind of like equal on this scale in society. I don't really know too much about it though.
It's all right. So communism is like, imagine the U.S. as a whole, instead of competing, they gather their resources for everybody. That's essentially what it is. So do you know any communist figures in history?
Yeah, like Karl Marx was pretty big.
Do you think you'd ever want to sit down and have a beer with him, talk with him over something?
I probably wouldn't at first, but then I would want to because I would want to know why he felt that was the most ideal way to rule the
Okay.
country. So
How's it going, sir? What do you think of communism? All right, never mind. How's it going today, sir?
Doing well, how are you?
Pretty good, thank you. I got a couple questions for you. Firstly, what is communism?
Communism is a political ideology that entails that the state or the country or whatever the governing force is own the means of production and thereby controlling the incomes of the people, or rather the wealth of the people. And the theory is that by being able to control it, they'll distribute it equally.
Very nice, very nice. Do you think this could be implemented in the United States?
I'd never say no. Crazier things have happened. At one point in our history, we actually divided up into two countries. So, who's to say we can't just turn communist one day? Culturally, that'd be an abomination. I don't think America at large would go for that. But perhaps over time, as the new generation starts to grow up and starts to be more conscious about voting, then certainly. But it would take time.
Very neat, very neat. Do you know of any countries that have successfully done communism?
I mean, define success, I don't think so, but I'm also of the capitalist school of thought. So I wouldn't define success as just having everyone in the same income bracket except for the state, who's just disproportionately wealthy. At least in a capitalist society, or rather in a more perfect capitalist society, there's a more even spread of wealth. More true even spread.
Gotcha. Very neat. And do you know any political figures or historical figures that are communist?
Karl Marx. Karl Marx pretty much invented communism. But Lenin and Stalin and rulers like that kind of put their own twist on it. And it wasn't so much about making or establishing equality for everyone. It was more about power and control of the people.
Very neat. And what do you think of these leaders?
I mean, I really don't support Lenin or Stalin or any of the communists in Vietnam or in China. But that's only because I think they've strayed too far away from the original Marxist ideology.
Yeah.
I think what we would consider socialism today, what we would consider like Bernie Sanders' ideology, is probably the closest we could probably find, or that I can think of off the top of my head. So there's that.
Alrighty, very nice. And would you grab a beer with any communists?
Sure. I'd grab a beer with anybody.
All right. Very cool.
Yeah.
I got a question for you. What is communism?
Communism is a state in which the production and markets are controlled by the government.
Alrighty, very nice. And do you think that this system could be implemented in the United States?
No, I don't think it should be implemented anywhere,
Why is that?
because it leads to corruption and famine and poverty.
Very nice. All right. Do you know any states that have implemented it successfully?
No, there are none.
And do you know any historical figures that are communists?
Vladimir Lenin, Kim Jong-il, Kim Jong-un, Joseph Stalin, Mao.
Very nice. And what do you think of these guys?
I mean, they're dicks.
You would not get a beer with them?
I mean, they're paying. Yeah, I'd get a beer with them.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Hey, how's it going today?
Hello, I'm great. How are you?
Pretty good. I got a question for you. What is communism?
Well, I can't say I know too much about communism, but I do know that it's all about being equal or something
Very,
like that.
very cool, yeah.
Sharing stuff, equal money, payments, salaries, something like that.
Sounds good. Do you think this could possibly work in the United States?
No, because people suck and everyone wants power and money, and the 1% that has all the power and money is not going to give it up.
Very cool, very cool. Do you know any states that have successfully implemented communism?
You know, I can't say I do, but it sounds like there might be some by the way you phrase that question.
Alrighty, alright. And do you know of any historical figures that are communists?
I would say Marx, Lenin. Those are the ones I'm familiar with.
Awesome, yeah. And what do you think of these guys?
They don't seem too friendly, but I haven't met them personally, so I don't really know.
True, true. Would you grab a beer with them?
Maybe if they paid for it.
Seems to be a common theme. I got a question for you. What is communism?
Communism is a state in which the economy and production is controlled by the government in the attempt of equal distribution between everybody to get rid of classes.
Very nice, very nice. And do you think this type of economic scheme could be implemented in the United States?
I do not believe it could be implemented in the United States simply because the United States is kind of founded on the exact opposite ideals of communism.
All right, very nice. And do you know any states that have successfully implemented communism?
No, I do not.
And do you know about any celebrities or past historical figures that are communists?
Most of them are dictators, so like the Kim Jong-il and Un in North Korea, like Che Guevara, Stalin, all those guys. Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think of those guys?
I don't think they've ever done anything wrong.
You think so?
No, they're pretty horrible people.
Wouldn't get a beer with them?
No, I don't think I would.
What'd you say, guys?
I said, honestly, I could get behind communism if they're on limited rations of beer.
Thank you for that, boys. That was very interesting. So, what is it that we found out from this experiment? That most of our community knew quite a lot about communism, or the basic fundamentals that are taught by human experience professors. When we asked them if they think that communism could ever happen in America, some people were very split on their opinions. Some thought that communism could never happen in America because we're so engrossed in capitalist system that it's simply impossible. One of the girls said that people in America, quote, suck. I don't know what that means, but they suck. So the fun part, we asked them if they would have a beer with any of the leaders. And most of them seem to want to have a beer, but mostly because it's beer, not because they would do it with the person. And one girl actually mentioned that she would love to have a beer with people like Marx to find out more about their ideology. Well, I have one thing to say to her. Take a class with Anthony Brunello called Political Ideologies. You'll find out everything you need. Thank you very much. You've been great. This was the Communist News Network. I'm Laila Forsman, and I'll see you next time. I like it.